So yesterday we talked about the structures, file structures. Wait a second. Yeah, we talked about the file structures. So whenever I say the files, physical files, we have the control file, data files, online read log files, and parameter file. So these are the four mandatory files that suppose if you want to bring up the database and access the database. Then there are some other files called backup files, archive redo log files, password file, temp file, alert log file, etc. Okay, these are the optional one, but alert log is where all the database activities will be captured, errors and everything. Okay, so then going to the next, when I say the logical parts, all DBA objects. When I say DBA objects, it might be the table space, sequence, everything. Those can be accessed by the database only, but not able to access through the OS. Those things are called the logical objects. So in logical objects, the largest amount is database. So under that, we have the table space. Table space is a collection of segments. Segments is a collection of extent, and extent is a collection of data block. And the blocks are the smallest unit of the storage, smallest unit of the logical storage. Okay. Then apart from that, we have a data files that are associated with table space. We haven't deep dive into to it yet, so let's go to that in some time. And then I've explained about the segments, what is a segment and what is extents and what is a data blocks and the things. Then we have gone through the modes of the startup. So what and which file we need in the no mount state, and what are the files we need to bring the database to mount state, and what are the files that needs to be open the database. So what is a no mount and mount to open, who can access these three phases. So we have gone through the things, right? And we have gone through the shutdown modes as well. What is a shutdown normal? What is a shutdown abort? What is a shutdown transactional? What is a shutdown normal? So we are pretty clear on the yesterday topics, right? Now today we'll go with redo management. Okay, let's see one by one how the things. So I think we have covered the control files here. Okay, so without this, what will happen, where this location would be and everything we have seen, right? So if anyone missed yesterday, today quickly let's go through it. Okay, I'll just ps-ef grep vmon. This command gives me the what and all databases are running in the server. Right now I don't have any databases running in my server, so I'll connect to the SQL plus / DBA. It is since the network is slow, it's taking some time. So before that, okay, let it come, let it start. So before that, let's just have a some small knowledge on the data dictionary or DB objects. What is this? What how this works and the things. Okay. So we have a DB object, something called whenever I say DBA underscore the table name or username, whatever it is, who can access the DBA underscore objects? Only DBAs can objects. And whenever they have whenever I fetch the record from something called all underscore anything, that might be the table space, table name, anything, everyone can access the objects which is starting with all underscore, and the user under similarly user underscore as well. Everyone cannot use the DBA objects with which name starting with DBA underscore, like DBA underscore table is there here, right? So only DBAs can access this. End users cannot access the anything that related to the DBA tables. Similarly, everyone can access the all tables. Everyone can access the user underscore tables. When I say everyone means that includes the DBA. I'll show you how these views or tables works. Let me connect to the database. Let me start up. And there is one more thing called the object starts with um, $v or something. $v here, whatever it is, $v database, $v data files, $v data files, $v control file, etc. So these and all again can access by the only DBAs, not from the end users. Whatever the view start with $v, those can be accessed by only DBAs, and these views can be accessed while the database in mount state also. Remaining things, these user underscore table, all underscore table, DB underscore tables, these and all, if you want to fetch the records from this, or if you want to modify anything, the database should be open. When I say the open means it should be available for the all users, where the actual business starts using the database. But suppose if the database is mount state and if we need the few information, we can use the $v objects, where this can be used in the mount state as well. I'll show you how this works. Let's wait a minute. Yeah, the database is open now. Suppose I'll write a small query. Okay, suppose what is my database name and in which mode the database available. Okay, so I'll just write a query, select name comma open underscore mode from $v database. So you understood what is a $v database here? It's a table where the all information contains. So if you want to see which and all columns this particular table have, you simply give the desk. Desk means description. Okay, desk means description, and $v database. If you give this, it will shows the list of columns this particular table having. List of columns, it's having the DB ID and the name. When I say the name, it is a database name, created, when it is created, and reset logs time, when the log files has been resetted. So similarly, lot of things. Control file type, control file created, and it's a sequence name, sequence number, open mode, whether it is a open no mount state or mount state, or read write. Read write means where you are seeing the open mode is read write, right? So it's a open mode. Okay, it's in open mode. The users can read and write to the database. Okay, then there is a lot of things. Similarly, there is one more thing called a $v data file. Here again, file number, hash means number. Okay, just remember hash in the database is always number. Table space number, creation time, status. So you can see the what and all columns available in a particular table using desk. Desk means description. Got it? So similarly, we have the DBA underscore objects. DBA underscore objects is the one where you have the information about, suppose, let's say, what's happening? Wow. Okay. I think I'm unable to connect to the network. Let's see what is the issue. I'll go to the wire settings. No, they may connect to.
Sir, can I share my PC?
No, just a minute. Let me. Okay, so let us start. Meanwhile, we'll go through the some theory part. So you in such a way you can fetch the details of any table. Okay. So as a DBA, sometimes you need to deal with the tables. I mean, tables means you don't update or modify anything. You only collect the information. That's all. You always use the select statement. That's it. So if you don't know how to fetch the data, I mean, which column is in which table, you just go with the description and particular table. Then you can see the lot of columns there. Then you will column I can use. I mean, which column is the useful for my report or to see the information. Okay. So I'll send at last some useful queries, whatever the DBS use at last, so that you can practice on your own. So if I give the ps-ef grep daemon, now it is showing the something called dev. That means the database name is dev is running in my PC. So I'll connect to the SQL place /assistdba. Let it wait for a minute. Then we'll go with some redo log management today. Okay. So as everyone attended the architecture class, can anyone quickly tell me what the redo log files? What are the redo log files? I do have the architecture. Nope, I don't have the architecture here. So anyone? Okay, let me quickly tell the architecture just to understand the use of what are the redo log files and the things. Okay. So architecture, when I say it's a combination of, it's about all about the instance. It's a combination of SGA and PGA, where SGA we have some background process and some memory structures, right? So
Yes.
if I go down, we have the SGA like this. Here we have the redo log buffer, where the recent transactions will be loading here. Suppose if you are inserting or updating or anything, if you are modifying any data, those recent transactions will be stored in both database buffer and redo log buffer. And once these database buffer data will always load into the data files with the help of DB writer. Similarly, the redo log buffer data will load into the redo log files with the help of log writer, right? That's what we studied in architecture class. So suppose if we go up, no, this is not required. Then here we have something called DB writer and log writer, right? So now I explain about the logs. I mean, what is a log files and other things. I'll go to the here. Suppose I'm doing some recent transactions, those will load here. So this is called redo log buffer. Redo log buffer. And what it contains? Contains the recent transactions. It contains the recent transactions. Recent transactions. So it will write to the log files. It will write to the, there is a one log file, another log file, and another log file. So basically, wait a second. There is a one group called redo log group. Okay. We have Oracle recommends always to have the 3 redo log groups in the database. Please remember this. Oracle always recommends to have the minimum 3 redo log groups in the database. So every group will have the log files. There is a one log file, another log file, one log file, and another log file. There is a one log file and another log file. So the data, whatever the recent transactions, that will always write to these redo log groups using the background process called log writer. Using the background process called log writer. So whenever the okay, let me represent here. It's a log group 1 and it's a log group 2 and it's a log group 3. Okay, Whenever the log writer is writing to the log group 1, these other two files would be in the either inactive state or unused state or active state. Okay, there is a four types of states that we can represent the redo log files in. So what are those states of log file? One is current state is there, and second one is active state. Third one is inactive. Fourth one is unused. Okay. So what is a current state means? Suppose this log writer background process connected to the log file group 1 or log file group 2, whatever the background process connected and writing the information, that is called those log files will be current state. Understood? Suppose my log writer is connected to log group 1 and it's writing the data to these two files. These files will be in active state. That means currently data is being writing to these particular files, and remaining files can be either in active state or inactive state or unused state. Let's see what is active state. Suppose log writer is writing the data here. Okay, log writer is writing the data here. Blah blah blah, something dot, and it's filled. It go to the next one. It will go to the next one. Here it will write the data. Blah 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 blah, and it's filled. Right now it is filled. Suppose let's assume these two files have the size of 10 MB. 10 MB files. Now it's filled. Now log writer will automatically switches to the log group 2. These will automatically switch to the log group 2. Log group 2. Once it is filled, it will switch to the log group 2. Then once this is filled, then this will become active state, and this will become current state, and this will become inactive state. Sorry. Now what is active? So whatever the files that have the data, that means these are ready for the backup. So what is the backup of archive redo log files called? I told in previous class. What is the backup of archive redo log files called? Sorry, log files called archive log files, right? Archive log files. So these filled files will be taking a backup to the archive files. Archive redo log files. So once this is filled, and these files will be taken back up to the archive redo log files with the help of background process called archiver. With the help of background process called archiver. Now the log writer is writing the data to here, log group 2. Blah 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 blah. Then again here, if you come, then it will write the same things. Then again this is filled. The log writer will automatically switch to the next group. Then it will write to the this. Then it is ready for the backup. These files are not being currently, then it is ready for the backup. Then these files also will be backup. Once the backup is done, it will flush the data automatically. What do you mean by flush? It will erase the data automatically. It will erase the data automatically, and it's ready to write again. Once again this is filled, once log file group 3 is filled, again log writer will start writing to the log file group 1, and this will take the backup by using the archiver process. Now you understood the difference between current, inactive, and unused, right? So whatever the log file is connected to the files, and if it is currently writing, it's in current state. Whatever the files that are filled and ready for the backup is called, those would be in active state. And once the backup is done, once it will flush out, then it will become to the inactive state. Inactive state means it is ready to switch. Ready to switch means it's ready to write again. It's ready to write again through the log writer. Unused means, I mean, there is nothing performed, there is no use of that particular log file. That's all. Now you understood the states of the files, right? Now let's see in the database level what is really happening there. Okay, you just go here, and as I said, you just issue this command, select database name and the database role. It's saying that database name is dev, open mode is read write, that means it's available for all users. Then it's a primary role. Okay, I'll tell about the primary standby going forward. It's advanced topic, so you just focus on this thing. Now you go here and see which and all log files are available. Which and all log files are available just by this query. So we have so many things. There is a format which is not properly aligned. You just can make a column member format a 30 or 40. So I'm trying to reduce its length to 30 characters only, and I'm setting lines 399. Again, I'll give the slash, which means that it will show the previous query. So you see here, I have 4 groups, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 groups I have, 3, 4, 5, 6, and each group have the one log file. Each group is having the one log file. Okay, there is a something called group 2, group 3, and group 4, group 5, and group 6. We have 4 online redo log groups, and each group having the 2 redo log files. Each group having the 2 redo log files. How can you fetch the information like this? All the log file information will be located in $log file view. $log file view. Suppose if I give the desk $log file, here you can see the columns it is having. It's having the group number, then status, whether it is online or offline, then type, then member is where actual name of the log file, then connection ID something. You can see the details of any files using this. So we have this thing. Now we'll go to this document, and now let's see the state of the log files. What is the state of the log files? So the state of log files will be located in $log view. We'll go here. I simply issue the command. Are you able to seeing this? So group 2 is in inactive, group 3 is in current. Current means the current log writer is connected to group 3, and it's writing the data to these redo log files. And again, group 4 is inactive, group 5 is inactive, group 6 is inactive. There is a no active. That means there is a nothing ready for backup. So archive log list to see whether the database in archive mode or not. So archive mode, log mode enabled. Okay, there is a no filled, there is a no filled log file, and there is a no files are ready for the backup. If there is a no active means there is a no files that contains the data and which is ready for the backup. Any confusion here in the form of states? All right, then we'll go to this document. This is just for your practice purpose, guys, to understand what is a log file, what is the different states of it, what it do when it is in active state, what does it mean when it is in active state, what does it mean when it is in current state. It's just for your knowledge purpose. You won't be getting any issues through this in your real time, just for your knowledge purpose and to clear the interviews. I'm telling this knowledge to you and I'm showing it practically. Okay, suppose if I want to add any log file, I can just simply add using this command, alter database, add log file group, and I can give the log file name. Simply like this. Okay, so if I want to add anything, I'll just pick up this query. I'll modify as per my need. Alter database, add log file. We have a group up to 6, right? I'll add the 7, and here I'll give the location where I want. So where the previous files are locating, which location? So I have a home Oracle up to, I'll bring up to this location. I'll bring up to this location. I'll go here. And I'll give some log 7 underscore 1 dot log. Size I'll give 10 MB or something like this. I'll go to the database now. I'll paste this command, database altered. And if I give this command again, now you are seeing the one group is added to this, right? One group is added to log files. That is a group number is 7. Similarly, you can add multiple files to the database. You can add multiple groups to the database, but Oracle always recommends to maintain at least minimum 3 redo log groups, and it can be up to 6 or 7 based on your database size, your database frequent reads and writes, everything. So suppose if okay, let me show this again. Let's see the status. So currently we have the log group is in current state, right? If you want to switch this current state to next, we have to forcefully switch this. We have to currently suppose the log writer is writing to group number 3. Now I want to switch log writer to write to the group number 1 or 2. I can switch it forcefully. How can I switch it? There is a command called alter switch log file. Alter system switch log file. That's all. If you simply give this, system is altered, it becomes active. Anyone observing? Now log 3 became active. The log group 3 became active, which means it have the data and it's ready for the backup. and the log writer is currently connected to the log group 7. Group 7, it is currently writing the data. And suppose if I switch this again, and if I see the status now, and again 7 became active, which means it have the data and it's ready for the backup, and the log writer is currently connected to the log file group 4. Any questions? Do you guys understanding this concept? I just need yes or no so that I can tell again. Okay, so that means you are understanding this. If you have no doubts, so this is the about the states. Now let's do some practical things. So we have switched it, and we have seen the inactive state. What is used? What is active state? What is inactive state, and everything. Then suppose if we want to delete anything, we can delete only inactive groups. Only inactive groups. We cannot delete anything which is in current state or active state. We can delete the log files only those are in inactive state, because these are the empty and it's nowhere connected to the log writer, right? So it's a simply idle, I can say. Only I can drop these inactive groups only in the database. If suppose any interviewer asks, can I drop the log file? Means you have to tell that yes, we can drop the log file. Those are in only inactive state. We cannot drop the log files. Those are in either active or current state. Okay. Any doubts or any questions in this? So how to drop it? It's a just simple simple command. I'll drop one of the thing now. Group. I will drop 2. Database altered now. So now we have the only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The log file group has been dropped. But in real time in production, you guys cannot, you guys don't drop anything in the database. You don't at all do anything with operation of either deletion or drop. No, nothing you will do. You will do always work with select commands only. You will fetch the report. You will see the things like this information. You will always see like the information like this. Okay, I have the 2 redo log groups, and I have 2 members allocated to that group, particular group. You always analyze the information using the select command as a DBAs. Until unless the situation comes, you don't perform anything that related to delete or drop or modification, anything. Clear on this? Any doubts?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So we have deal with read log files. Let's slightly touch the table space concept. Okay, table space concept. Theoretically, first we'll go, then we'll go it practically. So I told there is a logical file structure always again, logical storage, I can say. So I have the table space, right? I have there is a one, okay, I have the database here. I have the database. Here I will have here I will have the, okay, control files. What are the physical files? Can anyone quickly tell me? People who ever understood the things. Whoever understood, can anyone quickly tell me the physical files, what and all we are available? So we have control files, right? First, starting with control file.
Control files, data files, and
Data
Verilog.
files,
Yeah, we have a
online
control
read,
file. We have a control files, then
Data files,
data files,
online read log files,
data files, then online read log, online read log files.
parameter files,
Yes, parameter files. So here it's redo log files, redo log files, then
parameter files,
parameter files. So these are some mandatory files, right? These are the mandatory files. So let's assume it's a database. The whole thing is the database. So we have these mandatory files. We have the control files. So which is needed in mount state. We have the data files and redo log files. Where these redo log files will be located? In redo log groups, right? In redo log groups. These redo log files will be located in redo log groups. We have seen group 2, group 3, redo log groups. In redo log groups, these redo log files will be located. Similarly, where the data files located means it will located in table space. Table space. It's a logical unit. And table space can have the multiple, can have the n number of data files, data file 1, data file 2, data file 3, and so on, data file n. Data file 1, data file 2, and data file 3, and so on up to data file n. So one database can have the similarly multiple table spaces. One database can have the multiple table spaces. So where actual data will resides in these data files only. Where actual data resides in these data files only. Suppose you have an employee table and you are inserting million of the rows, and where that actual rows and the actual data will be stored in data files. Data files. You understood?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now by default, the database will have the minimum. It should have the 5 table spaces. 5 table spaces. Okay, before discussing the number of table spaces, let's go with the let's go with one more time. Let's go with different types of table spaces. Okay, types of table spaces. So I have a table space here. Table spaces. What are the types means? I have a permanent table space and a temporary table space and undo table space. I have a permanent table space. Permanent table space and undo table space and temp table space. These are the types of the table spaces. These are the types of the table spaces. So now by default, each database must and should have the 5 table spaces. What are those? Okay, what are those? So table spaces must must and should table spaces in database. So here those are, first one is system table space. System table space. Second one is sysocs table space. And then third one is user table space. Fourth one is undo table space. And fifth one is DBA table space. These are the 5 must and should table spaces each and every database will have. So what is system table space and what is sysocs table space? These are the permanent table spaces. These are the permanent table spaces where information about the database will be stored in these 2 table spaces only. Whatever, if I suppose I'm giving this view, right, $view. Suppose if I'm fetching the data from $log or database or whatever the views are there, right? All those views and the tables and the sequences that related to the database, everything will be stored in these two table spaces, system table space and sysocs table space. We cannot allocate these 2 table spaces to any users. So no user data should be stored here. Only the database information, like a $, database, something like only the database information will be stored in system and sysocs table spaces. We cannot allocate these 2 table spaces to any user. And we can allocate the user table space to the user. Suppose I have a user 1 in my database, user 2, user 3, and I have n number of users. I can allocate one of my table space to that particular users so that their data will be stored in only these table space. They cannot store their data in another table spaces. I am telling to them explicitly to store your data only one table space, that is called user table space. So we can create n number of user table space and we can assign to the users according to the business use. So I can create n number of user table space. Suppose I have a 100 number of users. So I can create one table space and assign it to the 10 users. I can create another table space, assign it to another 10 users, like that. I can create the n number of table spaces. So only those can be called user table spaces. These table spaces can be used by users to store their data. Whenever I say their data means it might be the tables, sequences, views, indexes, whatever. Okay. And there is one more thing called undo table space. So undo table space, the purpose of this is to recover the data. Suppose if anything, the instance is crashed or something is happened, at that time, it will recover the data from undo table space. Similarly, we have the temporary table space. It will be used for the sorting purposes. Like if suppose there is a huge sorting operation is going on, and there is a huge ascending or descending something, anything. It's used for temporary purpose. So you guys understand the table spaces, right? And there is a one more condition is there. To create the table space, you should at least, while creating the table space, you should at least allocate minimum one data file to it. Without allocating minimum one data file, you cannot create the table space. You cannot create the table space. Each table space will have at least one data file. Now let's see what and all table spaces I have in my database. Okay. So this information will be stored in $v table space. Let's see if this view is there or not. Yeah, it is there. It's there. Okay. Now I'll select table space number and its name from $v table space. You see here, I have sysocs, I have system, I have undo table space, I have users table space, temp. There is one more table space which I created, table space 1. There is one more undo table space. There is temporary table space. You can see like this. Suppose if you want to see the data files which are allocated to this, is a one more view. This $v data file. What are all things? File number I have. Table space number I have. There is a table, no table space name. So I'll go with DBA underscore data underscore files. So here I have the file name and table space name. Now I'll just go with select. Now first I will format this for understanding purpose. Column file name, format, how many characters you want, you may need 40. Then column table space name, it's fine. Select file name, comma, table space name from db underscore data underscore files. Now you see this data file is belongs to system table space. This data file is belongs to sysocs table space. This data file is belongs to table TBLS1 table space. You can see the number of data files and to which table space it's allocated. And here you can see the only details about the permanent and undo table space. You are not able to seeing the data about the temp table space, right? There is a nothing you are seeing about the temp. So if you want to see the temp table space, there is a different views. I will explain them later. So, but for the basic information, you just remember these things. That's all. So it's a fully confusion, right? When we are taking a deep dive.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Little bit.
Yeah. You will be always get familiar with when you do the proper practice.
Yes, sir.
If you practice this, and it will be very familiar to you guys.
Yes, sir.
If you practice, then only will get the familiar, or else it will be always looks difficult. So it's a just about I'm explaining the theory part, and here and remember these things and all you won't get in the real time, but you might have to work with to get the information like this. Okay, what and all table spaces I have, what and all data files I have. You have to work like this. That's all. Just to work like that, I'm telling you to this knowledge. I mean, what is a data file? What is a table space? I'm explaining it theoretically.
Yes.
Then only you know the what is a data file, what is a table space, right? Simply I cannot, if I explain the things which we do in real time, you won't be able to understand. If I tell the things which we do in real time, you can easily like, oh, this is a small task. You can feel like that. But in background, you don't have any knowledge. That's why I'm telling very deeper on the theoretical part as well. And I'm showing them practically.
Yes, sir.
So anyone, any doubts? Are you guys clear? You can share your feedback on this. I mean, how difficult it is to learn anything. Okay, no one. So I appeal to all of you. Please practice it. Please practice it. I'll share this document in the group. You can run these queries and you can get some knowledge. If you have any doubt, the advantage of being a DB is you will get the knowledge anywhere on the Google itself. So if you have any doubt, first Google it and what is the current state, what is the active state. Then if you are not understanding, just please let me know. I will explain it.
Yes, sir.
You please practice this. I'll send right now in the group. Okay. Where is this badge? Okay. Redo log management. I've sent in the group. So please practice these queries for today. Don't worry about the table spaces. That's a different concept, and we'll touch it tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then if no one have the doubt, I think we can wind up.
Once we practice after that,
Sorry?
I will ask you.
Yeah, sure. Okay then. Okay, everyone. Bye. Good day.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir.
Okay, thank you.